Oh yeah. Best day of the week, baby. Turn me up. Turn me around. Turn me upside down. Cut 'em loose. Cut 'em loose. Happy Wednesday, y'all. I'm sick, but we're here. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. It is, in fact, the best day of the week. We've got a fun one in store for you guys today. Don't go anywhere. At the end of the show, we're going to have all of you in the chat help us put together the High Top Sports family bracket. We do it every year where you guys vote on who we're going to pick. Shouldn't be too long, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to talk about spring practice, some offensive tackles, some transfer drama. It's going to be a good one. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to introduce Mr. David Swoder Quiz. What's going on, big dog? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I had a little bit of a rough day. It's been busy here at the workstation, but I'm not singing the blues because I just report the news.
I love it. I love it. Good to see you. Happy. It's been busy. We've all been kind of busy. I've been sick. I told you on Monday I was coming down with the flu, and took my ass out for the last 2 days. I've been scratching and crawling to get back to this moment so I could try to be here live. And I'm doing the best I can. Stay, we're ticking. We're ticking right along here. March Madness starts tomorrow, boys and girls, and we have obviously our link. I think there's about 60 brackets so far that have been submitted, which is awesome. But we could definitely break 100 brackets. So I retweeted it out. Again, it starts tomorrow at noon, so you have until noon tomorrow to submit it. It's free. Click the link, put it in. Winner gets $250. It's a no-brainer. Like to have fun. Like to keep as many people involved as we possibly can. So we will see. Yep, Mama's bracket is in. Good to see you. K Swiss is best day of the week, baby. Let's go. The Professor, how we doing, boys and girls? Be sure to smash the like button as well and subscribe if you guys are brand spanking new. So, without further ado, let's dive right into it, old Swolder. We got some spring notes here. Got another day of practice under our belts. Old Mertzy out there slinging the ball far and deep, far and wide. We've got a couple of notes here from Zach Goodall. Just some key points here. One, this was notated on a lot of people's stuff. Miles Graham was nowhere to be seen. Clearly, he's in the transfer portal. Everyone needs to panic. It just wasn't the 15 minutes that they were on the field that Miles Graham was not seen. But Joey Slackman is out of his non-contact jersey. He's rocking and rolling. Jameer DK, wide receiver from Wisconsin, he's out of his non-contact jersey. When he was in it, we didn't know why he was in it, but good to see that he is out of it. Boone and Shamar James, Wingo, Castell, and Capers are all in they're participating, but they're still in a no-contact jersey. And people in a no contact jersey but not participating is Cam Carroll. Obviously, he had that wicked knee injury. Andy Jean, Keon Zipper, we know he had his knee injury. Austin Barber, and we'll get into the offensive line here in just a minute. Jack Pyburn, he's grinding away, trying to come back. He had his injury late in the season, so I didn't really expect him probably to be back this soon anyways, but he is making some progress nonetheless. What do you got, big dog?
Yeah, man. I mean, you can't really take much away from these practices, but I mean, you can at least look at some highlights or something like that, I guess. But I realized that there was a lot more deep balls thrown in this practice from what I've heard and from what I've seen on the film. Also, there's a lot of people in non-contact jerseys like Justice Boone, Jordan Castell, Andy Jean, Derek Wingo, Cam Carroll, Keon Zipper, Jack Pyburn, Bryce Capers, and of course Austin Barber. Everybody knows about that. That came from Zach Albaverdi per on three, so I will give him credit there. But yeah, man, I mean, Miles Graham not being there, I wouldn't look too far into that. It's probably just I don't know. Maybe he had their scheduling thing, something like that, or maybe they just told him, hey, to sit out of this one and maybe observe whatever. But I guess he wasn't even there. Obviously Eugene Wilson's still looking good in these practices. Jaden Baugh has been kind of impressive as well, from what I've heard, and Hayden Hansen actually stood out a little bit more in that tight end room too. It's got kind of a name that you wouldn't think of when when you've got all the other tight ends there. Keon Zipper returning too, and Arliss Boardingham. So it's cool to see Hayden Hansen kind of get some play there and kind of get some recognition there. And Tyreek Sapp, I've heard he got in the backfield a few times along with Joey Slackman. So I mean, it seems like everything's coming along. I mean, we heard from Rob Sale earlier. He talked about the offensive line and moving Damian George over there to guard and Brandon Crenshaw Dixon over at tackle. So hopefully that formula right there will present some more cohesion with the offensive line and some competition for the defensive line, which I am pretty high on this year. So overall, I mean, through the I guess this would be the third week since the last week was like more of a spring break for all of those kids, but week 3 overall, I mean, pretty good. I mean, it's lying season, so I'm ready to lie and say we're gonna be going 12-0, Shout.
I love it. So look, I got some takeaways from the line here. On the right side, they had Damian George, Brandon Crenshaw were observed taking first at their right guard and tackle. George obviously at that guard position. Crenshaw more likely at that tackle position. Bryce Lovett and Caden Jones took reps as well. Caden Jones is that four-star commit that we got last year, played tackle. Got some things about Caden Jones later on from Joey Slackman, which I loved hearing again from a player with a lot of obviously credentials, and then walk on Chase Stevens and freshman Noel Potugancho and Mike Williams were on the right side as well. So Rob Sale also notated about how he was really excited about this tackle group, saying that they had the most depth they've had in a very long time, which kind of leads to this right here with Brandon Crenshaw, Lovett, Caden Jones, and then we'll get to the other side on that left side with Najee, Cameron Waits, that left guard, left tackle position. We know obviously Austin Barber, who's out currently, so he's not in this list, but we know he's on there as well. Devin Manuel from Arkansas, another big tackle position. Christian Williams, somebody that I mentioned before on the show, he's like 6'6", 320. Guy's an absolute beast. He had with not many reps, but I've said it before, one of the highest PFF ratings on the offensive line last year. So we'll see if that turns into anything with more reps this year. And then at center, Jake Slaughter, Roger Kearney, and Hayden Clem and Riley Simmons. So all things that we all anticipated, but it's nice getting confirmations on what our thoughts were. And we're starting to see this line come together on, again, what we thought it would be. And Slaughter and Kearney at center really excites me. And again, if one of those guys maybe steps up and does a great job, maybe one of them can slide over to that guard position. So that depth starts to, get a little bit thicker than we thought. Cameron Waits was somebody who we were really excited about last year. Obviously had the Achilles injury right before the season and then came back towards the end there. So I think there's a lot of expectation for him. Again, Najee Harris. And so people are wondering about, I can't remember his name anymore, the kid that went to FSU. What's his name, Dave? The offensive lineman?
Who cares?
Okay.
It's Richie Leonard.
Richie Leonard and obviously Micah Mazuka. Both guys kind of got the boot, it felt like. And when you look at this offensive line, it's like, look, I feel like we've got guys coming up. I've always said Najee is one of those studs, and I feel like he definitely took that role. And I think Damian George moving to that guard position with those tackles coming in, kicked Mazuka out in a good way. Look, no wishing those guys nothing but the best, except Richie Leonard, obviously going to FSU. But the offensive line, again, I like what I see. I like the size there. I like from what Jake Slaughter, I think is going to make. I mean, he was making progress last year. Extremely excited for him. We've got Austin Barber. I think he only goes up, which he dealt with an injury all year last year. I'm excited to see what he's able to do. Crenshaw coming in at right tackle, a ton of experience. Think about what we had at right tackle last year in Damian George. We had basically a hybrid, right? A substitute at right tackle. That's what we were working with. On top of Jake Slaughter, really kind of figured himself out at center, although that was his best position. Micah Mazuka, we know he dealt with an injury all offseason, right up until the season started. Did that play a factor as well, too? That line was really beat up more than we probably remember. So I'm really excited to see. Hopefully we get through the spring practice and summer with a clean slate, and we go into August full health and ramped up and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you're really looking for here is more offensive line improvement, obviously, but you want to see the depth. Like that, we haven't had this amount of depth on the offensive line in a while, so I think that's pretty exciting to kind of look like. I mean, you look at 2023 statistics, and I wrote this in the article earlier. I mean, our rushing statistics, 98th in rush play percentage, 72 in rush yards per game, rushes per game, 93rd rush yards. Oh, excuse me, rush yards per game. I already said that, 83rd, and then sack percentage from the quarterback, number 72 in the nation, and quarterback sacked 115th in the nation. So I remember me saying Graham Mertz was sacked 28 times, and he was pressured like over 100. Yeah, that's got to change, man. And with this depth, and even if you can afford injuries. I mean, like you don't want any injuries. Obviously, you want everybody healthy. You want your best starters playing on that side of the field, but you can afford a couple of injuries because those do happen in sports, and hopefully they're minor injuries, not something major where somebody's out of the season. So I think that's a good thing for just the offensive line as a whole. Rob Sale, Jonathan DeCoster, coming in and really praising these kids. A lot of these kids were praising Jonathan DeCoster and his mentorship and all that too in his first year here at Florida. So I think when you combine, Rob Sale, DeCoster, and with some of the depth that we got, I think that's a pretty good formula for at least somewhat of some kind of offensive line improvement going into 2024.
And I mean, obviously, Sale's on the hot seat for sure, but he's also getting a lot of praise from some offensive linemen that we're going to talk in about in just a minute. Some targets for the Gators, but it's nice hearing. I feel like we're hearing the name Rob Sale more than before, um, and it's refreshing from these recruits saying that Rob Sale's being very effective and impactful on the recruiting trail more than again. I feel like we heard last time. Maybe I feel like we had that big splash or it got overlooked, but I feel like our offensive recruiting went kind of quiet. We got what, four offensive linemen, and we've got two already or one already. So I like where things are headed. And
Yeah.
speaking of that, let's dive into that a little bit. Unless you have any more notes from spring practice, do you have anything else?
No, that's pretty much all I had. If you wanna like, if you obviously you wanna get more practice notes, those are good sites to follow. You can also get practice notes from the Florida Victorious boards if you haven't joined. And if you haven't joined, High Top, promo code High Top saves you 20% on your first month's membership if you do join, and it's only 15 a month to access the boards.
Yes, sir. I did take a look. Ali Peak had an interview with Shamar James. Obviously, he's coming off an injury as well. Something we kind of already knew, but you talked to him about it. This is a reoccurring injury that it happened to him during a high school during a basketball game. That didn't require surgery. This one did, so it's a little more severe. But it kind of look listen to what she had to talk to Shamar about. Kind of his big thing was like we're ready to rock and roll. They kind of asked about that outside noise. He's like, I don't really pay attention to that. Kind of the same beat of the drum that we're kind of getting from a lot of these guys. So look, I will say from interviewing a lot of these guys and listening to interviews from other players, I think the one cool interview was with Dave and Noel. That was a fantastic interview because Noel's coming from Germany. It's a different perspective. He talked about the speed changes from over there to over here, how much of a difference it is. So that to me is probably one of the most unique interviews you could probably listen to right now, just given the landscape of what we're working with, because a lot of these guys are saying a lot of the same thing that they're ready to grind, they're ready to eat, and that's about it. That's about all that we're getting. He also they are getting a little faster. Guys are much faster, much stronger this time coming out of spring or out of that the strength and conditioning camp, which we've been hearing. We thought so, but it's also great to hear that confirmation over and over and over again from these guys saying like, yeah, we're much stronger and faster than we were before.
Yeah, yeah, but I also heard that Eugene Wilson's looks like he's put on some muscle, he's put on some weight there too, but it's like, you look back at, like, some of the just the plays from last year, even defensively, offensively, and how I screamed hit somebody last year. I mean, a lot of that stuff does have to deal with strength and conditioning. Like, I mean, you've got a program that has a better strength and conditioning program than you. We already heard about what Mark Hockey was doing. There was less weights. It was more like cardio based. Like, you're not going to win a lot of football games in that kind of like a strength and conditioning scenario. So, just improving the strength and conditioning from a whole aspect is going to improve the physical performance of your football team and how physical they are. And I also like the fact that Will Harris is also taking spears in practice. So you get live tackling, not just a dummy or a donut. You get to tackle Will Harris with, well, of course, with a pad in front of him, because I'm pretty sure his midsection would hurt after taking so many of those, especially with people with helmets on. But like, I mean, it's different. It's very different. I'm getting like a different vibe from just the different coaches, how they're structuring everything, the strength and conditioning. Hey, man, like I said, it's lying season. I'm feeling good. I just want to see more. Let's see more of these clips. Let's see more of what DJ Lagway can do. Let's see more of like the Aiden Mazells, the offensive lineman. Like, I'm pumped, man. I love it when it's lying season because I get to lie until August 31st.
Days back on the train again, boys and girls. All right, so offensive line we've got lined up here. What I loved about this is the first one being I'm going to butcher his name here, Zaire Addison. I believe he's got, I don't know his top 12, but his top 6 schools. He's got Colorado, Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Miami, Nebraska, Oklahoma. Those are some of his top six schools right now. But Florida, he's like, look, it's in the same state as my home. Rob Sale, they've got another coach in John DeCoster. They're really big on development. Of course, all these schools develop, but Florida really intrigued me. Both those O-line coaches were in the league at some point, so they know how to develop. Coach John was with the Browns for 3 years, talking on the phone, he knows ball. I know if I go there, I'm going to get really good coaching and get developed. So, look, I mean, offensive line is something we constantly that excites me more for right now for recruiting, because I feel like out of all the positions, I think your skill positions, those guys are going to hop around the portal unless you're Caden Proctor, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But I think offensive linemen, those guys are going to more than likely stay at that school and probably try to grow and develop than hop around, unless you can go get a guy from a smaller school going up. That's just kind of what we've seen. We obviously you're always going to have your one, but typically that's where I think you're going to create a farm system is in the trenches because that takes time. That position takes time to develop. So if we can get these guys early, that's great. Offensive tackle 6'4", 280. He's out of Tampa, Florida. So another big one in state. Right now it's got Oregon, Miami, Florida State. I mean, the whole trifecta is there right now.
Yeah, these are the type of offensive linemen you want to recruit. Anybody inside of the top 250, obviously, but I mean, when you've already got a top 150 offensive line recruit on your roster right now, committed, not signed, but committed. I mean, that's a good sign of things to come. I mean, when we got Roderick Kearney, I think we had already had two or three, maybe three-star offensive linemen on Florida's commitment list, and then we got him. So when you start off like that, you got another top 250 talking about, DeCoster and Sale and 2 line coaches. You hear that a lot from a lot of these offensive line recruits with Florida being, an interesting school because they have 2 offensive line coaches. And this kid from Sumner High School, Riverview, I like his film. I mean, his burst out of just the break once the ball snap, I like his burst. I also like the fact that like it looks like he's got some power. He doesn't have like the power that he's going to technically just push you over, but he has enough power to keep you away from the quarterback. And that's what you really want to see, especially you can work on that strength and conditioning wise and technique wise. But to be inside of the top 250, playing in the division that he has, 6'5", almost 300 pounds. And you know how Rob Sale, he wants those tall, big offensive linemen, a good wingspan though, at like 6'10" wingspan. So, I mean, hey, Caden Jones, he was a 3-star actually, but he was very tall, very big. He had like a ridiculous wingspan in the Under Armour All-American game. So, hey, man, look, Florida pulls this guy, you get a top 250 to a top 150 offensive lineman, you're already recruiting way better than you have probably in what? A decade, I would say. I mean, you've pulled some top 100 guys, but you've pulled one in one class and one in another, and that was it. So, yeah, you pull this guy, and maybe you can get him signed along with the other top 150 guy. You're sitting pretty right now.
Caden Jones was a 4-star, by the way. Don't think I didn't hear you there.
Composite three
He's a
star,
four
but
star.
yes,
He's
four
a
star.
4-star. Next up, we've got Gavin Crawford. He's set to visit, I think, in the next week, and we've got another offensive lineman visiting over the next few weeks. Dave, you got that list. We'll go over that in just a minute. But Gavin Crawford went to school with Aaron Childs, so love that connection. Again, Peyton Joseph, he's visiting as well coming up. He has that connection with Antoine Hill, so like that, we're going back to these same schools. He's up in that Maryland area. Obviously, that's where Aaron Childs went. He's 6'2", 320. I believe he's a 3-star currently, but obviously it's extremely early, right? I mean, I wouldn't look too much into that currently.
Yeah.
But he recently received an offer. So again, had a lot of great things to say about Rob Sale as well, and just the communication between the offensive line.
Yeah, he's a Maryland kid. I don't know how tough these Maryland kids are hard to pull here, but I mean, like he's got offers right now from East Carolina, Syracuse, Boston College, Charlotte. I'm sure the offer list will go up. He's sitting with 15 right now. I could go through the whole list, but I'm not going to go ahead and just kind of, bore everybody to death with that. But I mean, hey, look, as the season goes on, and especially recruiting, it's March right now. The star ratings on some of these kids, I mean, it's better to look at some film. If you look at it like a low 3-star guy, I want to see if he's actually good, maybe go up to a 4 or 5-star. I mean, I, I look at it as like if you take these guys early, especially where they're at, you're obviously thinking that the development or the star rating will go further or the growth spurt will happen. I mean, we've seen this with Kanan Daniels. He was a 3-star. Finally, he got his well-deserved 4-star, which I was clamoring for the longest, him rushing 5,000 yards and averaging 10 yards per carry. So, I mean, maybe this guy does grow. Maybe he does develop. Maybe the staff sees something in him. Maybe he does get more offers down the road because the more offers he gets, the more the more value he has as a high school athlete. And I think that kind of does help with the star ratings and too, especially with the camps. So yeah, we'll see what happens, man. From good counsel, man. 2025 guy, 6'4", 285, man. I'm pretty pumped. So like I said, lying season. Hey, let's reel them in, boys.
I love it. Let's go. Look, and then we've got Nick Marcinko here on Twitter. Shout out to him. He was kind of clipping up a few things on what some of the coaches were saying here. So first thing, Jake Slaughter said Caden Jones is going to be a monster football player. And this is what I was going back to earlier. Again, Caden Jones playing on that right side of the football, right tackle. So Jake Slaughter obviously having to go up against him. Love hearing that. Obviously him complimenting the offensive line there. Then Armstrong saying Kelby Collins is going to be as good as anyone in the conference, which we talked about him last year, just someone a freshman being a big impact player. You notice him on the football field. You felt him on the football field, and they've kind of switched him around a little bit. I know on his like Florida Victorious, it said middle linebacker, but I also know that he's been lining up with the defensive line when Zach Goodall talked to us about that. He's playing with those guys more inside. So we'll see how they use Kelby Collins because they did move some guys to the edge position. So we'll see how that plays out. And then Rob Sale says they have tackle depth now, which they haven't had in the past. They have 6, 7 tackles they can really rely on playing winning football, which is what we were just talking about and going over those names. It feels like there's a nice quality depth there. And then Rob Sale says his offensive line is a hungry group. They want to come work every day. There's no egos, and they are a pleasure to coach. You always, when I hear those things, and we know the how things kind of played out with the offensive line with the few guys, right? You got to think that's the jab from the coaches. The coaches are never gonna be as upfront as maybe a player would be, but this is how the coach kind of gets their subtle jabs in when they're talking about the group of guys. Like, yep, there's no egos there. That's how I look at it. Could be wrong, but I feel like there's definitely a jab there speaking to maybe a few guys that were on that team last year.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at like the past 2 years, Billy Napier's been here. There's been a lot of vocal players, I would say, on the team, but most of those vocal players have one common denominator. They were Dan Mullen guys for the most part. So I mean, you don't ever hear Montrell Johnson saying anything, Eugene Wilson. I mean, we've seen players not play for 2 years that Billy Napier recruited. They don't say a word, they get to work. So, yeah, of course, maybe that could have been a subtle shot, or maybe it was just him just being nice and just saying, hey, look, there's no egos. It's a team sport and everybody's playing as a team. But yeah, I mean, like when you look at it just overall, I do like the depth, like we talked about, the depth on the offensive line. It can only pay off. And with this schedule that you got, and then we're going to talk about it here because they released the schedules for 2025. But with the schedules
Mhm.
that you have right now, I mean, you're going to need all the depth that you can get. I mean, the more SEC play that you play, the tougher the opponent is, the more risk for injury. You're not playing some smaller FCS team to where you can basically push them around with your finger, it seems like, and beat them like 60-0. You're going to have a tough schedule. So any kind of piece or any kind of depth going down, down the road is a good coup for Florida, especially on the offensive line, which struggled in recent years. So I like it.
No, look, I love hearing these things. Now, I will say to your Dan Mullen comment, Trevor Etienne kind of took some jabs, and that was a
Well,
like
at the same time, he didn't tweet anything out. He was being interviewed, and they asked him a question.
sure, sure,
So,
true, true, true. Okay, all right, I see your point. I see your point. So look, I love hearing these things again. I mean, right now, like you said, it's Lions season, it's talking season. None of these coaches are going to say anything poor, but it is good to hear. And I do believe some of these things they are saying. You take a look at what they're saying, then look at the depth chart. Okay, yeah, the depth seems to be there than what it was before. Again, that offensive line. Don't forget, 2 years ago, the offensive line was one of the best Florida had ever had. Now, some people will argue it's because Anthony Richardson and his legs allowed for the offensive line to look better. But even before that, Rob Sale has produced some incredible lines at Louisiana. He had one of the top. He had projected one of the top 20 linemen or lines back in like 2021. So these guys know what they're doing. Can they go to the next level? Is obviously the big question. We have yet to see that been answered. So recruiting seems to be heating up on the offensive line and as well as production. So all things are a go. And again, when you have the 131st out of 132, all you have to do is go up in this position. So that's where I get excited. This is where my bones start tingling. I start getting a little fired up because I know what the offense did last year with that O line. I believe truly in my heart the O line's gonna get better. I believe they're gonna be stronger. And if you just get halfway better, you get to 60. What are you able to do? If defense can jump up 30 spots, what are you able to do? You know what I mean? Like, it just, are you winning championships? No. But are you winning 8, 9 games? Absolutely.
oh, yeah. Yeah, you take that. I think we averaged 28.4 points per game last year. If you bump that up over 30 and then you take away, I think we were giving up almost the same amount in points. I think it was around 27. I mean, you bump that down to at least just maybe 21, 22. I mean, we're talking some major wins here, especially on the defense. And look, like I said, I love the depth that we have on offensive line. I love who we have on our defensive line. They always say all the games are won in the trenches, man. Like, look, what helps out your offense? Your offensive line. What helps out your defense? Your defensive line. All those guys in the backfield can't run around forever without giving something up. If the defensive line's not getting pressure on the quarterback, then quarterback can pick you apart all day. So I'm just loving it. Like I love what I'm hearing from the defensive and offensive line. I love lying season. It seems like, and to me, my general feeling is like, I feel that this year we have more depth, more talent than we had in the past 2 years with Billy Napier. Now, this is Billy Napier's guys now for the most part. There's still a little bit of Mullen guys on this squad, but not many. So I'll be interested to see who actually wins in spring and who enters the portal in spring and where Florida, I guess picks whoever they do in the spring portal period because we've heard Josh Pate and a couple other people saying, "Hey, look, that's not the only." We'll talk about the Proctor thing, but it's not the only crazy thing that's going to happen in the spring portal period. So those people know something and they know what's going on. So I think there's going to be a lot more action in the spring portal period this year, and I'm really curious to see who enters the spring portal from Florida and where does Florida get out of that because they could potentially increase depth or even get some more wide receiver talent too.
I claimed craziness in the spring portal before Hayes Fawcett tweeted it yesterday. Just want to make sure we all know where it started from. Adam Miller says, $5. Thoughts on change that when coaches go to SEC schools when quitting here, 60% of their buyout goes to the athletic department and 40% outside the SEC. I'm not quite sure what he's referring to. Do you know what he's talking about?
I think like thoughts on the change that when coaches go to the SEC schools and quitting here. I guess like if a coach quits or I don't know I don't know what he means by that. I'm guessing like 40% will go to the athletic department outside of the SEC. I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure of the breakdown, Adam. Sorry. So look, this came out today. The 2025 schedule. Here's what's interesting about the schedule, right? Because everyone's like, man, the schedule's a gauntlet this year. Billy's got one coming for him. Well, if Billy doesn't make it this year, whatever coach shows up next year is gonna go, what the hell happened? Like, what am I walking into? Now, what makes this schedule this year so daunting is the outside schedule, right? Which we don't know what the outside schedule is for 2025. We know FSU is going to be on there. Miami won't be, and neither will UCF. But who knows what else is going to be in store? But my golly, it's gonna be a gauntlet. Because think about Georgia, right? It says it's at home, but it's not really at home. It's a neutral site. So there's three home games versus those schools. Florida State will be at home. There's number 4, and there'll probably one more like cupcake game at home. Putting us at 5, or is it? Yeah, 5 and 7 is usually how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll be preseason picked like 5 games once again because of the schedule. And like to me, I look at it and I'm like, dude, this is stupid because like when we made this all SEC schedule, like people wanted to see different matchups. Like you're giving them the same matchups and you're just switching it from the home and away games, which is pretty lazy on the SEC and the commissioner's part for just
Yeah.
scheduling the same games one more time next year. Well, I get what they're trying to do to give one team a home game and one team an away game, but like people want to see different matchups, man. We just had 2 more schools, Oklahoma and Texas, join the SEC. We'd like to see Florida, Oklahoma next year. We don't want to see Florida,
We
Texas
love
again.
Florida Vandy. Like, we love
Yeah,
that game. Like, no need to
yeah,
take that game away from us.
yeah. Like
What the
we
fuck?
love Florida. I mean, I was gonna say we love Florida, Arkansas, but
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we love
Yeah.
Vanderbilt. Yeah, I mean, hell, we'll play 3 Vanderbilts in one season. But yeah, I mean, I know I looked at the schedule for next year. Our non-conference games aren't that hard, really. I mean, it's like I think it was like Florida A&M, USF, something like that. But you
Okay.
know, regardless, I mean, it's just the same schedule again. So like you're gonna give teams that have like an easier SEC schedule, an easier SEC schedule again instead of mixing it up in 2025. And it's actually unfair for Billy Napier because say he does somehow survive the schedule this year and they say, oh, well, Billy Napier's got one more year. Well, he gets to do it all over again. So, well, what kind of favorable situation is that for Billy Napier? Especially, if he hangs on, he's going to be putting in a true freshman quarterback the next year, unless DJ Lagway plays more than 4 games, then he'd be considered like a sophomore. But like you're going to put in a redshirt freshman next year with all these with this whole schedule, unless you get somebody from the portal or unless you trust Lagway to play. I mean, that's pretty brutal, man. Like if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I love it, but again, there's also too, which was announced, I think, like maybe a month ago, where we were going to 9 SEC conference games. We're back to 8. So the kind of that was confirmed. I remember talking about on the show we were going to get 9 games. Now it's not 9 games. So they kind of just moved right over that and gave us our eight conference schedules this year. So
But
another
think about
interesting.
if you're I was gonna say, think about if you're in the playoff. Like, if you're, you play all those games and then you make it to the playoff, you got to play like four more.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the SEC is it's a gauntlet for all these schools, man. To be honest with you, now except the ones that got like Mizzou's gonna have another cakewalk then.
Yeah. So is Ole Miss.
What is Ole Miss schedule?
Ole Miss's schedule is pretty easy from what I've looked at it, but I can't comment and say how many or who they play or anything like that. The only person I know that they play is us, but like, that's the weirdest thing about it is like you got to make it some you got to mix it up. Like I just don't get why you're just scheduling the same games then very next year against the same opponents, except for the out of conference games, which is dumb.
Well,
It's just really
I
stupid.
do remember when they first talked about it. It was like a 3-3-3 thing, like, but maybe I'm thinking of something different. I don't know. So Mizzou has Bama, Mississippi State. They have Bama at home, Mississippi State at home, South Carolina home, A&M home. They have at Arkansas, at Vanderbilt, at Auburn, and at Oklahoma. So yeah, I mean it's the same schedule, but they've got some of those harder teams now at home that they've got to travel on the road. So
Yeah,
I don't
so
know.
I'll give you Ole Miss's schedule, and this is
It's
like
pretty
the
tough.
whole schedule. Um, they play Furman, then Middle Tennessee, then Wake Forest, Georgia Southern, Kentucky, South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, that would be tough, Florida, Mississippi State. Like, how hard is that schedule? It's not hard at all.
Yeah, Mississippi State, Arkansas, yeah, it's pretty cake. South Carolina's pretty cake. LSU should be a good one though. I don't know. We look. It is what it is. That's what we draw. So, look, it's gonna be a fun 2 years for Florida football, but we got Florida basketball we're gonna talk about here in just a minute. But before we do that, so Caden Proctor. This one's a wild one that I wanted to talk about. So for those of you who kind of don't know what the situation here, he was at Alabama, was heavily recruited for Iowa. Was I think an Iowa commit at one point a year or 2 years ago when he came out. I think it was 2 years ago now, and then he flipped to Alabama right at the end. He played last year at Alabama, struggled a little bit, and then ultimately in the transfer portal went to Iowa. During this process, now this was in December. We are in March. From December till now, here's what happened. He left Alabama, went to Iowa. Iowa then was hit with a recruiting uh, a flag or whatever. What is it called? Recruiting penalty, a violation, because
Yeah.
somebody from Iowa messaged Caden Proctor during the season of just saying good job, like hey, keep it up, which is a minor 3 violation. So it's not serious because he's just saying like hey, good job. Like didn't even try to recruit him to Iowa, just showed him some love, just kept that relationship tight. And then even when Caden said I came back to Iowa because he was I felt like I never left, right? I felt like the relationship never ended. And so he goes to Iowa and we had like maybe 3 practices, not even. I don't even think he even showed up to practice. I don't think he went to practice. And now he's back at Alabama. So a couple things weird with this situation. One, how can you just come right back, right, with zero repercussions, which is weird to me. And then two, how do you come back? Like, was there conversation? Was there some more violations that happened during this process? Like, is Alabama gonna admit to some violations here? Like, this is blatant, right? Or did Caden
Yeah.
reach out? Which it's still to me isn't that a violation? Like, is Caden allowed to reach out and they go, yes, you can come back, Caden? Like, I don't. This makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, well, this is the funny thing about like the NCAA and everybody like wanting to change college football and bring all these transfer rules and everything else like that. It's like, yeah, I mean, like you got a kid that just transferred back to Alabama. I mean, you've had kids that have transferred to like 4 different schools. You've had all sorts of stupid things happen in the transfer portal that is just completely ridiculous. I mean, this kind of situation is I would say it was a probably an NIL money thing kind of situation because I would never expect a kid just to leave Alabama to transfer to Iowa. I know that there was a coaching change, right? So he got that 30-day transfer window to transfer. Now he's transferring back to Alabama. I don't know if there was discussions between DeBoer or NIL. I'm thinking both or something like that. But like, you got to know there was some tampering going on for that to happen. He
Had to
didn't
be.
just say, "Oh well, I'm done. I'm done at Iowa. I think I'm gonna go back to Alabama now."
And look, I think the part of it too is because he was a 5-star O lineman coming out, so he's a big name, right? He's gonna make you turn heads. This is some kid that transfers from nobody to nobody back to nobody, nobody's gonna bat an eye. But there's still value there. My opinion now, this kid's value has to. It would. It's like the Caleb Williams situation going to the NFL. Like I don't know how that guy is touchable with how he's acted and carried himself, but that's another conversation for another day. But this to me is like this is red flags. Like you just keep bouncing around. And DeBoer's in a situation where it's like, look, I gotta, I'll take what I can get, no big deal. We'll bring you right back. We love you. Come here. It's all good. And it's not like he left DeBoer, right? He left Saban-less Alabama. So it makes a little
Yep.
bit of sense. But I know he struggled why his first year at Alabama, which was given the reason why he left in the first place. I don't know. It just this
Maybe
people are
maybe,
frustrated. A
maybe
lot of go ahead.
may I was about to say, maybe he just saw the chicks in Iowa and just said, "Fuck it, I'm going back to Alabama."
Money says Bama gave him a blank check, couldn't turn them down. Plus, he already spent all of Iowa's money. LOL. This is the first case where I actually heard a kid took the money but still went back. I was seeing that again. How much of this stuff is true? I don't know, but I was trying to read the comments to get a vibe of what people felt and like what happened. I saw
I
that
wouldn't
he
put it
took it. Yeah, look, you can't. It's hard to take it, but like, who knows anymore, right? Like, who genuinely knows? Like, the situation seems very weird. Um, do I think that he went and took the
I
money and
mean,
left? No. Do I think that he went, promised something, and didn't get what he was promised? Yes, I believe that. I see that being a more thing. But again, just this hopping around, like this is where people are getting frustrated and where the sport is going to lose its pizzazz. Like the whole thing that got people excited about NIL, again, we've talked about it before, is you're able to support a player, you support your team, you can go and buy a jersey now, but the kid's gonna hop around 19 different times. Like this is, in my opinion, where the NBA has lost its lust because every year somebody's getting traded or going to a new team. They get pissed because they don't like the way that the paint on the floor is. So like, I'm not going to win here. James Harden is the biggest baby in the. I can't stand the guy. The guy is a prima donna. You're trash. You're absolute garbage, and you just keep hopping from team to team, thinking that it's a team. No, James, you suck. Okay, you're trash. I know there's a different thing here, but the NBA. That's why I mean nobody watches it anymore. That's a fact. Like it's awful, and so you have to. Like this is a prime example of where you have to create barriers. Like it's we say the Wild Wild West. Like I feel like that's that's mid at this point. Like we're discounting the Wild Wild West. Like I wish it was the Wild Wild West. That's how crazy this has gotten. I feel like.
yeah, I mean, like, we've talked about it 1,000 times. It's like, dude, it's ruining college football. We always talk about it, but I mean, like, in retrospect, I feel that like a player should be able to benefit off their name, image, and likeness. And we've talked about it. There's got to be rules set in place. We know that, but this transfer portal stuff, man, is just making it worse. Like,
Yeah,
if
the
you
portal
change
is the biggest part.
yeah, if you just change the transfer portal rules to where like kids can't just completely transfer from here to there and here to there and here to there, like you're gonna get less of this nonsense that goes on between like, oh, well, let's tamper with this kid and try to get him here and let's offer him this. You're gonna get less of all of that. Like you got to give them like strict transfer rules, and then they can only do it like one time. And then if the head coach gets fired, I think that's a good thing to do with the 30-day window because coach leaves, probably the kids won't leave. But I mean, like, other than that, like, kids shouldn't just be able to freely transfer no matter where they want to, how many times they want to, because it's just getting out of control. It's dumb.
It is. It's absolutely ridiculous. But boys and girls, Dave, are you gonna stay on for this?
I guess if you want me to. You
Okay.
want me to give you some support, man? You want me to pat you on the back?
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, it's not gonna be me. We're gonna do this together. So we're gonna do a little March Madness. For those of you that are listening and you haven't picked your bracket out this morning, maybe you might get some tidbits here. But look, what we're gonna do is check your poll. I'm going to put in the poll for the bracket and have everyone vote on it. So we'll give it a couple seconds. Look, this is gonna take a little bit. I know that, but we're gonna hang out and chillax for the next. Hopefully, it only takes about 20 minutes or so going through the March Madness, and this is gonna be the High Top Family March Madness bracket where we pick this thing together. So we'll run that. We'll run it for like a 60 seconds maybe and see. So we got UConn at Stetson. I mean this obviously should be a no brainer here on the UConn. I probably shouldn't even put it in there,
Oh,
should I,
wow.
Dave?
Are we picking all 63?
Oh, we're doing a whole thing, Dave. I told you it's gonna be a while. So it.
I'm out on that one.
All right. I'll see you later then, Dave.
Hey, y'all have fun picking y'all's tennis teams over here.
All right, later, buddy.
Later.
I had to feel. I was like, Dave, you sure you want to rock and roll this whole time? I was like, I'm here for it. I love it. So, all right, we already got. All right, UConn by a mile. All right, I love it. Now here's where it gets dicey here. What I'll probably do. Can I end this poll? All right, I got to end this poll. All right, let me go ahead and end the poll. Somebody voted for the other one. Like, what are you even doing here? All right, let's do FAU, and we're gonna have Northwestern. This one I feel like it's gonna be a tough one here. I know a lot. I mean, a lot of us are Florida fans, so I mean, I imagine a lot of us are probably gonna pick FAU. But we'll let it roll for here for just a quick second and see what we got. Oh, we got 50-50 already. Ooh, Northwestern takes the lead here. This is a dicey one, boys. Oh, back. Oh, this is close. I love it. I love it. I love the engagement that we're having right now. This is fun. This is fun. That's why we like doing this. I should put a timer. I should put a 30-second timer on this thing. Or maybe when we get to like 25 votes. What do we think? Timer? Votes? Give me your thoughts. I know you're doing a lot right now. Everyone's voting and whatnot. Let's just do a timer. That's the easiest thing. All right, 30 seconds on the clock. And whatever we're at when that ends is what I'm going to put in. FAU leads the way right now. It is close, though. 20 votes in. FAU's leading the way. Oh, it's holding strong. Oh, it's pulling away. FAU is pulling away here. All right, we got 10 seconds left. Looks like FAU is going to get it done. Oh, close. 60%. 58. All right, FAU got it done. All right, let's do. This is a good upset one here. We got San Diego State and UAB. So San Diego State and UAB here. All right, here we go, boys. Once I type it in, it's going to hit the 6. Then we're going to do the timer. All right, here we go. All right, UAB and San Diego State is now up. You guys can now vote. Rock and roll on that. UAB is a 12 seed, but I like UAB, though. I like them a lot there, right? Let's not just sleep on the UAB squad here, boys. Oh, it's a San Diego by a landslide. Hopefully, hopefully we have some upsets, but this is not even close. San Diego is running away with it. Yeah, San Diego by a landslide. All right, cool beans on that one. I love it. Do you guys like this, or should I just put in the comments section? How are we enjoying that? Let me know down in the comments below. I feel like this is fun. Maybe I can put some music on for us, make it a little bit better, but maybe I'll do that here in just a minute. All right, we're going to do Auburn now, a 4 seed versus Yale, a 13 seed. Might take too long, boys. I don't know. Let's see. Let me get the music kicking, though, because that'll make everything better. Make me feel better anyways. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, the mood's already better. Auburn by a landslide, all right? Auburn it is. I don't hate that one at all. All right, let's go ahead and end this poll. Do the next one here. Like, keep it rolling. All right, cool. Love it. Now everyone's gonna hang out, but that's okay. Like I said, I'm a big. All right, BYU and Duquesne. This is an interesting one here. I think Duquesne's Mountain West kind of getting slept on a little bit. I know a lot of people like Mount Duquesne. Oh, it's 50-50 here. Yeah, this is a close one. I may need the timer for this one. Oh, I like it. I like it's close. I like that it's close. I like the interactive polling, like just much like Holly's mom. Looks like BYU is going to take it, though. 24 votes are in. There's 200 people in here. You guys can all vote now. Let's see. Oh, it's close. 52-48 with 27 votes. It looks like BYU's going to pull it out, though. And timer is up, and BYU it is. All right, Illinois and Morehead State. I'm not sold on Illinois, boys. I got to be honest with you. I'm sold on them taking down Illinois, but I'm not sold on Morehead and Ill. Okay? Morehead and Illinois. All right, boys and girls. Got them rhythm tunes. You know what I'm saying? Is it good? Is it loud enough? Can y'all hear it? All right, it's BYU has 3 players over the age of 26. They're winning. All right, buddy. Well, we went with BYU, so no need to get aggressive. All right. All right, it's Illinois. I'm not even gonna waste any more time. Here comes a nice juicy one. This is where you win the bracket right here. I think the 7 and 10s. We got Washington and Drake. Me personally, I'm taking Drake. That's me. But you people are gonna decide here as our high top family bracket will be submitted here later on tonight. We're gonna keep it on this side. We're gonna finish this whole whatever side this is here. Good groove show. Thanks, Brendan. I love this stuff, man. Ooh, Washington. No, we want Drake, boys. We want Drake. We want Drake. All right, let's see. Let me go back. It looks like... Oh, it's close. Let me get a quick refresh. It's close. It's close. Washington is pulling away, though, at 53%. Okay, Washington it is. You guys make the rules. I just plug them in. I'm not even going to do the Iowa State one because you guys clearly have shown a pattern to take the favorites. We have 0 upsets in the first round on this side of the bracket. Just letting everybody know. Just letting everybody know. All right? That's where we're at with it. All right, let's go ahead and end this bracket. This one's getting pretty close here up there now, but it's already too late. We're moving on. All right, we're going to take UConn and FAU, and I'm going to find us a new song to listen to while you guys vote on that. Okay. Ooh. Here we go. Look, UConn is plus 350 to win this whole damn thing. And that's a pretty good average, in my opinion, to win. There's a band called Foreplay you might like. Might look into. Big in the 90s. New age jazz. I'll definitely take a look into it. Thank you, Brendan. I love that kind of music, so thank you. All right, UConn by a billion. All right, here we go. We're going to have our first big one here. San Diego, 5 seed. I think they lose to UAB, but again, I'm not the expert on this one. You guys are. So San Diego and Auburn. I spelled San Diego wrong, but I don't care. We're moving quick. So, here we go. A lot of SEC homers in here. Look, SEC's got to get it done this year. Virginia disappointed the ACC last year, or this last night, and the ACC carries a lot of weight just because of what they've done. I feel like. So Auburn gets it by a million. All right, let's see this one here. I would love, in my opinion, a BYU upset. I love how I'm trying to persuade the chat and nobody gives a shit what I'm saying. You guys just do whatever you want, which I love. I love it all. I don't hate it. BYU versus Illinois. BYU is a 6 seed. Illinois is a 3 seed. We took a look at the eye here. 71% is taking Illinois. I'm not a huge fan of the Big Ten, though, when it comes to basketball. I'm a big guy on Big 12 basketball is huge. They are always good. Big Ten's kind of slacked off the last couple of years. So that's my opinion. Last time Auburn won the SEC tournament, they made the Final Four. Okay, Muddy with the stat line there. BYU pulling away with 56%. Jake says I'm voting for an upset till it passes. I mean, golly, guys, like nobody wants an upset. BYU is an upset though. Here we go. Throwing some more back down. I can't. I'll get demonetized. BYU takes it home with 60% voting. I love it. There we go. All right, Washington and Iowa State here. Let's do another one here. Wash and Iowa State University, boys. Okay, there you go. Hey, listen to Muddy, guys. The guy knows what he's doing when it comes to this voting. So we got Iowa State and Washington. Iowa State's cruising. They should be, again, how you guys have voted thus far. This part of the bracket, I'm kind of lost on, to be honest with you. Iowa State's coming out of the Big 12. I just said Big 12. Washington's one of those weird schools, though. But from years past, my experience, when something like this happens, you rock with Iowa State. They got 2 seed. You kind of just, it's a shoe-in, right? This whole bottom bracket, bro, weird. Imagine if Florida could have got the 6th seed of BYU and played Illinois. Way better. All right, Iowa State is taking it. Let me go ahead and find us a new little tune here. Keep the move. We're cruising, boys. All right, we are into the Elite Eight. We got UConn and Auburn. This is where it gets dicey now. see where you guys' heads are at here. Hopefully you guys like the tunes. If not, I mean, it is what it is, but. Is it loud enough? Should be, right? Should be like a nice, little, healthy little tune. It's Wazoo, not UW. Illinois is sneaky good. Okay. All right, here we go. UConn over Auburn here. Close, 61%. 60-40 with 32 votes. I love it. Getting a lot of interactions tonight. Here we go. Oh, so we did 50 votes and then we'll call it maybe. 37. Looks like UConn's got it, unless there's a massive swing here. All right, we got BYU now in Iowa State. We had Muddy in there just hyping up BYU. We got William talking about Illinois, excuse me, not Iowa State being stinky good. All right, here we go. We got BYU and Iowa. The chain is a little too slow for me. Ooh, Iowa State pulling it away. Yeah, UConn looks good, man. Like, I was watching their highlights last night, dude. Like, just kind of doing my homework a little bit. That team's built different, bro. That team is built different. So we're thinking a 1-2. We're thinking a 1-2 here. We're done with the 90s. Sorry, boys. All right, let's do UConn and Iowa. Look, if I could find like just a nice playlist I wouldn't get in trouble for, boys, I'd be there all day, but it ain't that easy, unfortunately. What do you guys like? Country? All right, let's see what we're looking at here. UConn by a mile. All right, figured as much. That got turned up a lot, didn't it? UConn wins it all. Iowa State wins that matchup. Iowa's defense is Houston only scored 40 points against them. Not in the cards. I like Purdue. I don't like Purdue at all. I'm going to be honest with you, boys. I'm not a big fan of Purdue at all. All right. We've got one of our Final Fours of UConn. Let's go ahead and scroll down here. We got I'm going to just put North Carolina in. I'm not even going to worry with that one because I saw how the last bracket went. So I'm learning from you guys. All right. All right. Let's do Mississippi State and Michigan State. Hard to go against Izzo, boys. Yeah, I know how tall that one dude. Purdue has choked the last 2 years with that tall dude. I am not sold on Purdue. Well, this song kind of slaps. Nathan, I like Auburn over UConn. I don't hate it. Michigan State's got to win here. Yeah, Michigan State's pulling away here, as they should. I mean, you can't go against Izzo first round. You just can't. Mississippi State, I feel like kind of getting there on the... Like, think about that. Think about Florida and Mississippi State. Mississippi State is 1 seed higher than Florida. Crazy to me. Oh, this is getting close. 52% to 48. All right, pulled away. We're going to go Michigan State. Good on you. All right, Grand Canyon, guys. Let's not sleep on this. Let's have a head here. Let's have an upset. We need one. Let's like band together here, boys and girls, okay? We got St. Mary and GCU, Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon, 12 seed. All right, I'll pull their stats up in case you're watching at home. But I mean, like, come on. Grand Canyon's looking to make a run here, all right? Cinderella story. Don't sleep on the boys. We need one upset, guys. Oh my gosh. Nobody say I can't spell their shit. St. Mary's sneaky good. Bro, I'm just clicking away, Jacob. Don't yell. Don't worry about the spelling, boys. I'm just clicking. I'm just typing. I'm sick. I'm like barely even here. All right, let's just bear with me here. I was really hoping I could pull off a. Nobody's riding with me. St. Mary's it is. I'm not even gonna do Bama and Charleston then because nobody's not gonna vote for Bama. I almost want to do Clemson in New Mexico, but New Mexico is a dog. So I would love to like. I like New Mexico here a lot. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see what the people say. Ryan Digital says don't pick UConn. We're already past that, but you slept on it. I wonder who's voting because I feel like the chat is not the same. Oh, New Mexico's pulling away. I love this. I love this. There we go. We're using our heads, boys. I love this. What happens? You know what's funny is if this bracket wins, I should just play with the 30 people that are voting. All right, New Mexico's pulling away. Good stuff. I love it. All right, Baylor's gonna beat Colgate. I'm not gonna bother with that. All right, let's do. And look, I'm not saying that I would vote that, but based on how y'all been voting tonight, if y'all vote Colgate over Baylor, I'm shutting the whole string down anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right, Dayton versus Nevada. All right, let's go. I like Nevada here, boys. Mountain West team. But Dayton's good. I know the problem is Dayton is where Curry went, so that carries a lot of weight. And I get it. Yeah, it's gonna Dayton Flyers, bro. Gets people fired up. GCU's gonna beat St. Mary's. I agree with William. Me and you will pick them on our individual bracket. Yeah, Clemson is 6 seed over New Mexico, who played, I'm pretty sure, in the Mountain West Championship. I think it was Mountain West Championship. They played in one of their championships. I'm pretty sure they played in the championship pretty damn close. And Clemson was like 5th in the ACC. Shows you how much they're overvaluing the ACC. So keep that in mind. All right, Dayton is you're locked in winner. Oops. And then Arizona. All right, let's go back to the tippity top here. Ooh, Michigan State, North Carolina. I got a feeling I already know what's gonna happen, but we'll plug it in anyways. Hey, we're vibing now, boys. I don't care what anybody says. Kerwin and Davidson. Sorry, Ben. I knew when I said it didn't feel right. I knew when I said it didn't feel right. Thank you. Pick Nevada. That's what I was saying. Did we not pick Nevada? No, who we pick? I know. We should pick Nevada. I know, Jacob. I know. All right, yeah, UNC. I thought everyone was going to pick UNC. All right, St. Mary's and Bama. I have a feeling everyone's going to pick Bama, given the fact of the SEC fandom in here. St. Mary. I spelled Saint right that time, so you guys can suck it. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Look, I mean, for the people that do like it, not everybody's going to like this, and I get that, but I enjoy hanging out with the chat. I don't do this often as much as we used to, so I do appreciate you guys chatting and hanging out with us and voting. I do appreciate it. Love you guys as always. Bama's pulling away here. I love it. Bama definitely sucks. SMC. Give me St. Mary. Who is voting? Like, you guys are all commenting, but the votes say different. Uh-oh. This one's getting close. 47-53. You guys are all hot on the votes, though. I love it. Looks like about 37 votes each time, so. Looks like Bama takes it home. All right. All right, New Mexico and Baylor. I like Baylor here. I think Baylor's going to take it. But we'll see where... Say, what's up, Steven? All right, let's do another one. Let's do... we got... Who do we got? I'm looking in the wrong place. Okay. Baylor and New Mexico. I was looking upwards. This part was freaking me out. All right, here we go. I think Baylor's going to pull away with it, and then probably Arizona, just given what I've seen. I can't put Luke Combs on Timothy Packard. I would put on actually Zach Bryan if I could, but I can't. So this is a tough tune, bro. This is tough. All right, Baylor's pulling away, like I thought. Okay, easy squeezy. Love those. Love those. All right, we got Arizona and Dayton. Here we go. Baylor's overrated. Think so? Sorry for cussing. Family friendly. Arizona's pulling away with it. All right, let's get into the elite. There's a Sweet 16 actually. Yeah, Sweet 16. All right, we got 1 versus 4. We've got Bama versus UNC. Let's see if the SEC homage stays strong here. Ooh, UNC's getting pounded. Like you know what I'm gonna say. You know what I was gonna say. Whoa there, brother. All right, UNC is taking it home. All right, we got Baylor and Arizona. A lot of comments saying Baylor's overrated. I'm feeling Arizona's going to take it. I hate how we're taking so many homer picks, but you know that 1 seed made it last year, right, boys? Whatever. It was like a 9. I can't wait till we get to the Florida side. Like, wow, that's going to play out. That's going to be a blast. Ooh, Zona. Ooh. Ooh. Baylor's. Ooh. This was close. This was close. Ooh, Zona pulled away. Zona pulled away quick. Okay. It was close for a quick second there. All right. And then now we've got 1 versus 2. I got a feeling based on early votage. That's going to be USC and, or it's going to be USC. Got 2-1 so far in the final four. Yeah, it's a land. Ooh. Ooh. UNC pulls away, boys. Okay. We got about 5 votes left that haven't voted. Look like UNC's got it, though. All right, UNC it is. All right, let's get into the Florida's bracket. Here we go. We got Houston. I'm going to go ahead and knock out the ones I know. Marquette. Okay. 8-9 Nebraska here. This one's a juicy one. A&M, we've seen a lot of A&M basketball, so we're very familiar with them. I know Nebraska is, I don't know what they are anymore, but are they? I mean, I know they're a basketball school. Women. I did a women's basket. I picked Iowa to go all the way. But I did pick Nebraska. But I think they're good at volleyball. Wrong sport. Oh, this is a tough one here. It was back and forth, boys. All right, A&M it is. Close for a minute. Close for a minute. A&M takes it home, boys. All right, we got Wissy and JMU. I'm asking for an upset here, boys. I like JMU here. All right, but you guys do what you want. No, Jacob says I already got Wisconsin. All right, I shouldn't even bother. I think we only have like 2 upsets right now, which is BYU and the 11 seed down here we did, right? Yeah, New Mexico. Oh, JMU, let's fucking go, boys. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, let's go. There we go. Now we're getting juicy. I love it. 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 I'm not even going to put Florida in there either. Or Duke. Nobody's picking Vermont over Duke. All right, Texas Tech over NC State. All right, TT versus NC State. I love that. Love that. Jamie, you got some dogs. I think Wisconsin's overrated. They're a high 5 seed. They went far in the Big Ten, I think, is what got them that bid there. And I just ain't about it. You know what I mean? NC State. Oh, another upset. I love it, boys. Oh, talk dirty to me. This bracket's gonna get juicy. So obviously Kentucky over Oakland. I know Florida. There's no shot. Actually, should I put it in there for shits and giggles? I'll put it in there, but I swear to goodness. All right, let's see. I mean, okay, good. All right, everyone picked Florida. So, Brendan, what would be priceless if the poll gets literally every pick right except Florida? That would be pretty funny because it's of how much of a homer pick. Jesse Lynn says, "Thanks for letting interact." No, thank you guys for interacting. I appreciate it. All right, let's move on. What do we got? We're all in agreement on Marquette, right? And Kentucky. I kind of took that away from you guys, but I feel like from just I'm learning as you guys. If you vote Colorado, leave. I love it. All right, let's do Houston. I feel like I know what this one's going to be. And Texas A&M. I feel like it's going to be a lock, so I'm not going to bother. Look, I can put country on. I don't know what the country version of this stuff is, though. It's like... Problem is, we're not going to know any of these music. And that's where it gets a little, like... Can't do that. I can't. All right, Houston. Okay. All right. We got Duke and Jamie. Trust me, boys. If I could throw on Zach B, I would in a heartbeat. Wouldn't even miss a beat. I feel like a disc jockey with requests. I know. I like just tunes. Like I'm not. It's just white noise at this point. I can't just sit here and let myself breathe all night. All right, Duke is pulling away. Figured as much. Kentucky and NC State. I got a feeling I know where you guys are gonna go. We're taking Florida over Marquette, right? Like, I don't need to put it in there. Wow, NC State. Holy shit. Wait, did I type the wrong thing in? Wow. Glad I put this one in, boys. NC State it is. Okay. Are we going to just take Florida all the way, or are we going to be reasonable here? I want to know. Okay, we're taking Florida all the way. It's not going to be reasonable. Okay, Florida it is. All right, now we got our Elite 8 up here in the top. Sweet 16, but you know what I'm talking about. All right. Houston and Duke's interesting. I don't think anybody really likes either one, but we'll see how this breaks out. I'm interested to see. I'm interested on Florida and NC State. I mean, that's a good matchup for Florida, right? We got to like that. Duke. Really? Pulling the upset? Oh, no, no, no. Pull it back, pull it back. There we go. A little more upbeat. There's no part of fam that's reasonable. Gators all the way. All right. All right. Oh, and Houston pulls it away at the end there. That was a nail biter, boys. Wow. Came down to the wire, I got to tell you. That was a fun one. All right, here we go. We got NC State and UF. Let's see how you guys are feeling now. This one doesn't seem crazy to me. The Houston one and Florida one would be nuts, but I'm here for whatever. So my daughter has a better bracket. Look at this shit. Oh no. How many years in a row, buddy? 3 years in a row. If you pick NC State leave, there's a few people who picked it, but Florida pulls it off. Here we go. So this is the Elite Eight here, Eddie, or Muddy. 18%. I bet Muddy picked Homeboys. All right, let's do Houston and Florida. Let's see what they got for the boys. All right, I spelled Houston wrong, so I can mess them up. Let's see how everybody's feeling. UF's still pulling ahead. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised, but Patrick, I agree. This is what sucks about when Florida does make a tournament and I want to make my bracket right. It's like, how do I pick against Florida? You know what I mean? Okay, down goes Houston. There it is. Houston, we have a problem. There's our final three so far. All right, let's go. We'll do Purdue. You guys were all horned up about Purdue earlier. I like St. Peter's and Tennessee, so I'm going to actually put that in because I kind of like that upset there over Tennessee. Let's see how y'all are feeling, though. Are we done picking who wins the tennis tournament? No, we're not, Dave. Dave was like, you're doing the whole thing? Yeah, I'm out. Okay, Tennessee. I should have known better. All right, let's do Texas and Colorado State. This is an interesting one. That Colorado State team is kind of good, boys. Let's see. I got to check out that Colorado Boise State game that's going on right now, too. Duck race for the Final Four. Duck race the whole tournament? Golly, bro, that'd be a whole other show. All right, Texas pulls it out. Nobody's picking Akron over Creighton, right? All right. Let's do South Carolina, Oregon. That's a fun one. I feel like you guys are putting a lot of stock in the SEC. You know, I might be putting too much stock in other conferences, but I don't know, man. The SEC just kind of... Colorado State is really good. That's what I'm saying. Colorado State probably should win that, but the Pac-12, it's still the Pac-12 in basketball. It's pretty good. And Oregon won the Pac-12 tournament, by the way. They beat Colorado. Which is crazy to think that South Carolina is 6. Well, I guess they're the second seed in the SEC, so that makes sense. Okay, Oregon it is. Love that upset. All right, let's do Kansas and Sanford. I mean, this one's a no-brainer, but... yeah, Florida State and Georgia, they're in a different tournament, I think. Kansas by a landslide. Is Gonzaga going to be good this year, boys? Zags and McNeese. Oh, we played McNeese. Boys are good. Hey, big year for McNeese. Playing Florida, making the dance. I think they made it last year, I think. But I know, money. That's what I'm saying. Last year, FAU, St. Peter's, and San Diego State made the Elite Eight. St. Peter's was a 15 seed. FAU was a 9. I think San Diego was a 5 seed. Or an 8 seed, maybe? All right. The Zaggy Zags. All right. Okay, Utah. And TCU. I'm fat fingering the shit out of this, but whatever. I feel like the comments are getting upset because they're Kansas has lost 4-5 and lost their best player. Whew. Sanford with the big blow there. Allowing the Zags to move on again. Maybe this is Purdue's year. Purdue might get an easy one. What's up with TCU and Utah State? What's the 4-1 on those two teams, Muddy? All right, TCU takes it home here. All right, now that's where it gets juicy because I'm not a believer in Purdue, but all of you are. I don't think they've made it past the round of this next round in like 2 years. I don't think Purdue's made it out of the first round in the last 2 years, I think. I think they've lost the first round the past 2 years. They lost St. Peter's last year, and they lost the first round the year before that, I think. Just not sold on it, bro. This is what I'm telling you. Big Ten basketball is not what it used to be. What do I know? Yeah, Purdue does have it easy, though, you know? Yeah, I don't know much about. I mean, TCU's at a Big 12. I said Big 12's good, but TCU wasn't high on that list of being good. I gotta tell you, I gotta be honest. Purdue it is. All right, so I'm thinking, based on how y'all were commenting, Zags over Kansas, right? Here we go. Let's see if the chat was able to persuade anybody. It got to be Zags here, right? Based on what we were hearing. Later, Brendan. Foreplay. Got it in my notes. Oh, come across sex shit probably watch. Zags it is. I love it. You guys rock. All right, glad we were on that one there. All right, here we go. We got Oregon and the Jaybirds. Creighton. It's an interesting one. 3-11 here. Ooh, the Texas and Tennessee. Creighton with an early lead. Creighton's one of those teams that's usually like an 11-12 seed that kind of like hangs out. And then sometimes with that 4 and 5 seed, I feel like they kind of blow it. That's my thoughts. Creighton takes it home. Tennessee and Texas. I don't know much about Texas basketball. But again, Big 12 basketball is big. So it was SEC this year. Tennessee's been good. Tennessee's been known to choke again the last 2 years. I'm gun shy. Is this the year we full send it on the SEC though? This just slaps. Tennessee it is. Okay. Purdue and the Zags. Where it gets juicy. Zags, here we go. we go. Zags Nation showing up here, boys. We're going to have the Tennessee's in the Final Four. I can feel it. Okay, Zags get it done. Tennessee and Creighton. This is an interesting little section over here. This shit slaps. Ooh. Come on. Talk to me. Talk dirty to me. Creighton? Upset? And we got Creighton and the Zags. This is a weird bracket, bro. Like, I'm not sold on Purdue being a good number 1 seed. Tennessee is not a good number 2 seed. Then you got Creighton number 3. It's a weird 3 seed. Who is that for? Kansas, who's basically battered. Weird bracket in that bottom right side, boys. That's in Zag, who's usually a solid 1 seed, might pull off the unthinkable on that 5th seed there. Creighton, has they ever made a Final Four? You gotta like the Zag, yeah. You gotta go Zags here, just strictly off of coaching and experience. Creighton has a win over UConn and Marquette. Why does money always gotta be right? I still like the Zags here, boys. I like the Zags here. Deep run. Oh, this is a close one here. It's 54-46. Looks like Zags are going to pull it off. I love it. I love that. I love that. Zags finish season hot. Zags it is. We're in our Final Four, boys and girls. Zags in Florida. Remember when Florida played? They played it was against Georgetown, though. 7-5 seed and 2 1 seeds. This is healthy. I like this because I think UConn and UNC are definitely probably the best 2 1 seeds. I think we can all agree on that. They've got a pretty cake bracket. I feel like Florida's definitely has the hardest bracket that they're in. All right, let's do it. UNC, UConn. Moment of truth here. Do you have the family votes? And yes, Cody, as of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, Cody Dykes. Ooh, we got it. We got a juicy one here, boys. I know Creighton shoots threes, Muddy, but that doesn't last forever. UConn's pulling away, as they should. I mean, a plus 350 favorite. Back to back, though, that's tough. That's tough to do. But I like it. Huskies. Huskies over the heels. All right, here we go. The Zags. What's the Gators? What do we got? Who do we got? Championship game. Oh, this is a tough one. Oh, it's 50-50. Florida takes the lead. This will go back and forth here. Had a few early votes for the Zags, but it looks like Florida's going to pull away. Yep, it's not even close. Zags or Florida runs away with it. Up against the Husk for the championships. Well, we know now that this bracket won't win. Watch it fucking win. Wouldn't that be nuts? UF, UConn. Who we got, boys? Who do we got? I love it. I love it. Okay, go to get your team. I better see all y'all have Florida that as your team. Okay, Florida it is. We'll do like 162 for the points and submit the bracket. All right, there we go, boys and girls. We are in there like swimwear. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I had a blast. That was fun. I had a good time picking the bracket with you all. Oh wait, it says I only have. Hold on. It says I only submitted 62 of 63. Did I miss a team? Hold on. Oh Lord. All right. Oh no, we're all good. We're in there. Okay. We are in. All right, boys and girls. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I did. It was an absolute blast as always. Of course, be sure to like and subscribe. March Madness starts tomorrow, boys and girls. Enjoy yourself. Get some rest. It's going to be a long day. Get your parlays locked and loaded. Should be a good one. Peace and love, baby.